Hello everybody and welcome to today's video blog from Fortuna. My name is Caroline Diarte Edwards. I'm a director at Fortuna and was previously head of admissions at INSEAD. And I'm here today with my colleague Michel Belden. So Michel was associate director of admissions at Wharton at the MBA program. And we wanted to talk today about the topic of career goals and specifically candidates who are looking to make a career switch into consulting post-MBA. And Michel also worked at Bain a few years back, and so has an interesting perspective on how to best present your candidacy for working at one of the top consulting firms or making a switch into consulting post-MBA, whether that's McKinsey, Bain, BCG, or another type of consulting firm. So Michel, what are your thoughts on how candidates can effectively present their career goals, and taking an example of a candidate who is not working consulting pre-MBA but is looking to make that switch into consulting after graduating from business school? How should they go about best presenting that, and what are the pitfalls that they should avoid?
Right. Yeah. So picking consulting as your goal after business school is, we feel like, a little bit of an easy option. Therefore, if that is your goal, when I work with my clients, is to push them to really do their research on what does that mean for you to, what is your background and your work experience, and what skills are you going to be bringing to the consulting position? And in the consulting position, what is it about that's really intriguing and interesting to you? Why do you want to work in consulting? What is it offering to you? What will you be learning to really then connect to what is your long-term goal or even a midterm goal? Because you really want to be able to sell it and have a compelling reason that consulting is the right next step for you. To really be able to connect from what you've done to consulting, to then really show what you want to do with that consulting experience, in the long term. The pitfalls would be, just to be able to easily say, I've done this and I'd like to go into consulting after business school. And it's just not compelling, and you're bucketed with a bunch of people. It's an easy answer. And you really want to stand out and really give them, you want to have them be excited about you and, what you want to do and what you want to learn about when you're at business school. So what is that consulting role? Why is it so intriguing to you? So really to be able and go and look for a specific consulting company. Is it one of the big ones like McKinsey, Bain, BCG? Is it a smaller one? What are they offering to you? Is it a specific practice within the consulting group? Is it healthcare? Because you want to really dig deeper into an area. And again, pulling from your past experience and connecting it to that.
Right. Yes, indeed. And as you mentioned, it's often, I think, a career goal that candidates put down on their application because they're not quite sure what they want to do post-MBA. And as you say, it's kind of an easy career goal to put on your application because it looks credible, right? A lot of people do go into consulting post-MBA. And, consultancy firms are very open to recruiting people post-MBA from a lot of different backgrounds. So you could be a very good candidate for consulting, but admissions committees are aware that it's something that so many candidates are putting on their application, and you need to show that you've got clear motivation and that you've sort of explained exactly what you bring to the role. And specifically what your career interests are and what your long-term goals are in pursuing that path. What are your thoughts about how candidates can really refine that vision, and how can they go about figuring out what role that they would play in a consulting firm, and getting more precise about pinning down the part of the practice that they may work in and what they may bring to the role that another candidate might not bring to a consulting position.
Right. And I think that's important because I think in the admissions committee, being that you would be a viable, candidate if you're interviewing, right, for consulting companies and they would see you. So how can you show that to the admissions committee? And I think that is just going on the websites of the consulting companies and looking at the specific roles post-MBA that they offer, what those entail, and what kind of skills are they looking for, because that's how you connect and can really articulate better in the essays for the applications. I will say I've had clients that have been successful pivoting into consulting. That's their story, but they've done a lot of work. And it's really being able to, like you said, connect. This is what I've done. I'm really good at problem solving, working on teams, being able to go, from one case to another, and showing that you've done it and how you're going to apply that in the consulting industry. Also, if it is a specific area of interest, if it's life sciences or the healthcare, again, if you had a connection for what you've been doing and really to dig deeper into that area and what you want to learn in that consulting role. Again, what is it that you're going to be taking away from that and then be able to use long-term in the vision you have for yourself. It could also be to continue in consulting and become a VP, and that's a good story to tell as well, but it has to be convincing, and that why you are drawn to it, and what gets you excited about it, and connecting it even further into the school, a consulting club, show that you've talked to students that are in that club and when they help prep each other for the interviews, and really, really doing your homework. So, I mean, those are ways I would say to start going about doing that.
Yeah, sure. And from your experience at Bain, Michel, can you talk a bit about the qualities that these firms are looking for, so that, candidates who are looking at presenting themselves as a great candidate for being recruited in that position post-MBA, what are the types of strengths and skills that they should be highlighting, or what experience should they be highlighting that would make them look like an appealing candidate for one of those top firms?
That's a great question. I think it's being a strategic thinker, right? Being able to show those skills within an interview and your past experience. Definitely team skills and working within a team quantitatively, being able to build models and so forth, and be a visionary in the sense of you're presented with a problem and how would you go about solving that problem, that you're a problem solver and you've been doing that within your past role, and wanting to help companies, right? So you're going to be working across different companies, doing different things, and someone that really has that drive and that interest to be in that role. And the consulting companies are going to the top business schools and trying to recruit the best. And the questions that they are asking in the interviews are going to be connected to past experiences and what they've been focused on at business school, which even goes back to the application of, if you want to do consulting, what do you need to get out of business school? What are you going to be focusing on? What do you continue to need to learn to build your toolkit to be successful within that consulting role?
Yeah, absolutely. And, they also have quite a focus on the analytical skills. And so, what are your views on how important the GMAT is for someone who's looking to position themselves as a future strategy consultant?
Yeah, I think it does definitely come into play. I think it's important to be able to show that you're quantitatively, your ability to really, I'll say, crunch the numbers, but really dig deep with big data and so forth, that you are going to really be comfortable and have that ability to really get into there and dig into numbers. And if it's, their what's going on with the company, with their, end of numbers and so forth, but really that you are able to thrive in the environment at business school, but within the consulting practice, and that will be shown within the GMAT, that you have performed well and been successfor in that area.
Yeah. I think it's difficult to convince an admissions committee that you're a great candidate for MBB if, for example, your GMAT is way below average for the school.
Right.
The analytical skills are definitely important.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much, Michel. Very interesting discussion, and look forward to continuing the discussion.
Thank you.